Today, we are talking about leveling up. So stay tuned. Welcome to Shift Today with Allison. My name is Allison Chuhazi. I am your host. I'm an intuitive transformational life coach, and I am a super fan of all things intuition. So let's dive in because today is a great topic. This has been a prevalent topic lately, not just in the realm of who I talk to with my clients, but also personally. And I've gone through this numerous times. So lots of good, juicy stories possibly to share with you today. So today I'm talking about leveling up. What does that mean? Have you heard that? Like self-expansion. Some people call it an awakening. I think that's a little different, but leveling up, what it means is when we are in this space of discomfort in our life and we're kind of staying in this space of discomfort, knowing and craving changes, right? We're craving for our life to change. We just need something to be different. And unfortunately, a lot of people will stay in that space of fear and being stuck because they're waiting for somebody else to change. So I'm going to go through a few of these characteristics here that I have today. When to recognize that you are leveling up. Okay. So it can begin with perhaps your anxiety is ramped up, right? We're feeling very anxious. We have an upcoming doctor's appointment. We have to have a conversation with our boss. We have to have a difficult conversation with our grown kids. We have to, whatever it is, right? We are just in this space of discomfort. And there really is a truly a simple answer when it comes to how to shift out of leveling up and understanding shifting out of fear into a place of discomfort for growth and expansion. However, it seems that easy. It gets easier as we do this practice, the mindfulness practice. However, by recognizing these things, that is the beginning and the starting point. So anxiousness, jitteriness, having a hard time focusing, these are moments. And there's one thing, the simplest thing that we can do to shift forward into the expansion direction we're supposed to go, simply is making new choices. But it doesn't begin just making new choices. It begins recognizing where you were, noticing where you are today, so that you can make the new choices to thrive forward. If you just keep making new choices, but don't understand why you're doing it, it's not coming from a place of knowing, you're probably going to keep making them the same bad choices, right? That are keeping you stuck in the yuck of life. The stuck of the life usually includes judgments. It includes expectations. It includes shaming and blaming, right? There's so many things that help us stay stuck in this yuck. When we're ready to take a step forward, doesn't mean it has to be some big epic step forward. No. But as I go through these things, notice if any of these things are happening and or have happened to you, and then you've made a change to do something different and stuck with that change, right? So again, I began with anxiousness, feeling jittery, hard to focus. Hard to focus a lot of times is people just they've taken on so many commitments. I've made so many commitments. I can't make a change because I have to complete all these commitments. Or you make a new choice and don't make so many commitments. Or you go back to a commitment and say, this is no longer working for me. I am unable to produce or provide in this way, right? We make a lot of commitments because we don't want to let anybody down. But in turn, we're typically letting ourselves down. And if we're letting ourselves down, then we're not doing a great job for somebody else. Oh, it's a cycle. It's a whole cycle. When we're in the realm of fear and ready to level up, like we're stuck in this fear and we don't want to level up, right? Because that means we're going to have to stay, We're going to have to get out of our comfort zone of stuck and we're going to have to step into the unknown. Here's a little hint and a little trick. Every single day is an unknown. Today is the unknown of yesterday. It is literally that simple. So, what are we afraid of? That's where the change begins. Noticing factually, what is the change? Instead of turning to junk food, right? When we're upset, depressed, and fear, oh my God, I'm going to turn to junk food, alcohol, drugs. I'm going to sit and binge watch TV. Are those things fine to do in moderation? Absolutely. Do you, boo? Do what makes you happy. But if all you're doing is sitting in front of the TV, eating, you're just standing still or sitting still. You're not making any progress to go forward, right? Do you want to go forward? Maybe you just want to stand still. That's fine. That's up to you. But this is a conversation about leveling up. And if you're here, it's because you want to advance yourself. You're ready. So some things we do, we stay in bed. We have chronic illness that flares, or we develop new chronic illness. Why? Because we're not ready to define what it is that we need to change in our life. We get irritable, so irritable. Oh, my hand's raised. These things happen to me too. We numb things with food, alcohol, drugs, TV, like I had mentioned. We avoid. Nope, not going to deal with that. I'm avoiding it. I don't want to have that hard conversation. I don't want to make the change because then that means I have to take action and I actually have to do something. I have to get off my butt and do it. I have to stop being lazy and do it. Yes, that's realistic. If you want to continue to expand your life, if you want to have an abundance of joy, prosperity, you have to take action. You have to stop procrastinating. How good does it feel to get something done? Typically feels amazing, like it's off your plate, right? If you are telling yourself repeatedly over and over that you're not good enough, guess what you're going to feel? Not good enough. Don't we want to level up to, yeah, you know what? I am good enough. I can do this. You know what? This isn't my thing. I'm not going to do it anymore. That is, you are good enough. You are good enough to make choices. Blaming others for your choices. How often does this happen? Oof, I've been in that. I have been in that cycle. I was in that cycle for years and years and years. I blamed my ex-husband. I blamed my parents. I blamed my family. I blamed my now husband. I blamed his ex-wife. I blamed uh, extended family. I blamed my boss. All of those people I blamed. I blamed for my choices. Why? What was my choice? To spend time with them, have them in my life. That was my choice. So if you are blaming someone else, waiting for them to change, that's on you, not them. Denying yourself happiness. I'm here to tell you, you are allowed to be happy. If you are stuck in a realm of unhappiness, that is a choice you are making. You are allowed to be prosperous with joy. Absolutely. So if you're ready, the shift is ready for you. How often, here's another example if you're ready to level up. How often are you ruminating over negative aspects of the past? What was done to you and what you did to yourself and others? Oh, that is being stuck in that whirlpool of yuck, conditioned self-behavior. Not going to get you anywhere. It's just probably going to fuel more illusions of what somebody might have been feeling, what somebody should be doing, what could have happened. It's time to move forward, right? Let's put the ruminating aside. How about your massive list of expectations? Do you have a massive list? I know years and years ago, I was in my 30s, and I remember having a conversation with my dad. I believe it was over the phone. And I was going, God knows what I was going on and on. It was probably my dating life after my divorce. It was probably my job. right? That I knew things could be different. And he finally said, "Why don't you just lower your expectations?" I was like, "What?" I got so mad at him. I'll never forget this. I get so mad and frustrated. How dare him tell me to lower my expectations? I'm not going to lower my expectations. He's a very wise man because now I live with no expectations. Expectations are setting ourselves up to fail or us setting somebody else up to fail in our eyes. I don't like that word. I think it's overused. I think it causes trauma. I think it causes not good enough. I think it causes people to not be happy because you're constantly trying to strive for something to look better in somebody else's eyes. I don't think that's healthy. What if you were to shift, right? From expectations of here's a massive checklist. If you don't meet all these things, you're not good enough, you're out. What if you approach something in a relationship with the intention of being your very best, showing up as your best, and allowing somebody to do the same? And then if you don't, have compassion and grace to get curious to understand what is going on with someone and what is going on with yourself when things aren't going the way you want them, and be surprised when things go better than intended, right? Doesn't that feel better? Mm. You know you're ready to level up when things are just negative, negative, negative. You can't see anything good. I know many people like that in my life, unfortunately. Yeah. How about projecting your feelings on others? How often do you do that? I'm not going to share with you because I don't want to burden you. I don't want you to feel this way. Please don't feel this way. How often do you say those things? I know my son, one of my sons would say, "Oh, I'm not, Mom, I don't want you to feel bad about this." And I'm like, "Well, first of all, you're not in charge of my feelings. I am. If somebody's needing to unload, right? They're feeling sad, feeling down in the dumps, just not feeling their best. And they say to you, "Oh, I don't want to unload on you because I don't want you to feel bad." Well, guess what? You're not going to make me feel bad. You might actually feel better by unloading your bad feelings and your negativity, but it's on me if I choose to hold on to that and hug it. I'm not going to hold on to your junk. I'm definitely going to there's a space here. Feel free to dump it in that space. Doesn't mean I'm going to hold on to it. I'm also not a fan of when we're leveling up and people say, "I'm going to hold space for you." I hear that often. I know I'm on the minority of this feeling of this phrase, but I'm not going to hold space for you. That is your space to hold. I will be here to love you and to listen to you, but it's your stuff you have to work through. If I choose to take that on as my own and then I feel yucky about it, that is on me. That has nothing to do with you. No one is in charge of, I am not in charge of making you happy. You are not in charge of making me happy. When I'm leveling up, that is when I'm not leveling up, it is my responsibility, my feelings, as yours are yours. How often do you feel sorry for yourself? If you are feeling sorry for yourself, you are definitely ready to level up. No one wants to stay in that realm. No one. How about you're not feeling connected to God or spirit or higher power, or universe or Mother Nature? I can't hear them. They're not listening to me. I'm not getting what I expect from them. Mm, you're not going to because you probably can't hear yourself. If you are trying so desperately to connect with something outside of you and you're not getting what you expect to receive back, it's because you are not connected to yourself. You are avoiding dealing with what you need to deal with yourself. You're avoiding solutions. If you have a mindfulness practice and you skip it, I mean, if you're leveling up, you might need to change your mindfulness practice, your mindset, your meditations, what you do to stay present. It's okay. Things are going to shift and change. That's part of life. How about, do you ever get stuck in what might happen? Oh my gosh, so many people analyze what might happen. It literally becomes illusions, and then facts get skewed. So skewed with opinions and what somebody else might think and this and that. When you are in this space of discomfort, a lot of us need a quick pill. We need something to change it for us. But what if you literally just went all in to connect with how you feel, what you think, get factual about the past, and then get ready to shift? And in between there, right? In between the leveling, like I'm leveling up in this major discomfort point to starting to shift. You start to shift when you start answering, why am I afraid? And what got me stuck? What got me so afraid of myself and my surroundings that I am not going to change? I have clients who have said to me, I'm like, just cry. Just cry, let it all out, get it out, right? And they're like, no, I'm so afraid if I start crying, I'm never going to stop. And I don't mean to necessarily make a joke about this, but do you know anyone who's still crying? Like they've been crying for years? Like, no, you cry, you get it out. You make space within your being, within your mind, within your heart, within your soul to say, let's dump all of this out. Let's release it. And yes, we might see so many new things. We might see things that we've done. We might see things we need to forgive about ourselves, about others. We might see a new path ahead. But think about Mother Nature here. This is where I want to, especially with the release when we're leveling up, right? It's like we're so afraid to release because we've been avoiding so many things that we've set up these dams, we've set up bridges, we've set up all these things, right? Like think of the trajectory of a river making its way, and then there's this massive flood that comes through, and then we're like, oh my gosh. And I think we think of all the negativity. I just was watching, we just had the horrible storm of the Hurricane Helene that went through the Southeast. And I was watching a video recently, and they were talking, I don't remember, I believe it was in somewhere in North Carolina, and the river literally has cut a new path. It is such a giant new path. And where the river is flowing now is where buildings used to stand. Mother Nature is a massive force. And instead of working with her, we're like, nope, Mother Nature, we need to put you back. We need to put that river back where it was. It needs to flow the way we wanted it to flow before. But what if there was a reason for this massive rush, massiveness to come out, for a change to get back to how things need to be? Meaning, if you have a massive flood of emotions, it is probably going to change the topography within you. It might change how you feel. It might open up some honesty about a relationship that maybe is no longer serving you, right? It might open up a whole new realm of you listening to your intuition. It might make you realize, you know what, this job I'm doing every single day is causing me more pain than prosperity. It's time for a change. It might allow you to have more compassion for somebody that you are holding so much angst for. Whatever it might be. We need to blow things open sometimes to recognize what it is we need and where we're going in our life, right? To understand that newness about ourselves, to understand the fear and understand that there are benefits in being uncomfortable. Being uncomfortable is either guiding us towards a direction of newness or guiding us away from what we no longer need. So when things do start to shift, here's a few things that might begin to happen within you. It might be easier to get out of bed and take a shower. It might be easier for you to cry. It might be easier for you to see the past is the past and it's over. And you don't need to hold on to some of that yuck anymore. You might feel like it's time to nourish yourself, right? Like, oh, I'm done with the junk food. It's time for me to have some new healthy habits put into place. It might be time for you to ask for support and listen to the support. Take action, right? You can go and have that conversation with a friend and unload, but unless you are taking action for your life, things will not change. But it will if you do take the action. How about this? Recognize things that need to change, and the change begins with making new choices. New choices, not the old choices. New choices. How about you finally recognize when you are making those changes that spirit, higher power, universe, God is on your side. I am being protected. I am being heard. Why? Because I trust, I'm listening to my intuition. I'm listening to all spirit realms. And I know these decisions might be uncomfortable, but they're necessary for me to grow. And finally, perhaps you get back to your mindfulness practice and maybe even change it. You make a change to that practice that you have, right? You are feeling more compassion, more grace for your life and for your past. You're not holding on to that angst anymore. These are just a few examples of what it means to leveling up. If you're curious and you want to understand more about leveling up, understand more how to tap into and understand your fear and getting stuck, let me know. I've got a new course on my website called Leveling Up. It's really understanding your fear and noticing the benefits of your discomfort so you can succeed and prosper going forward. So if there's any way I can support you, feel free. You can find me on all platforms, all social media, and even my website is Allison Chuhazi. And until we meet again, I hope you can shift today into a greater tomorrow. Bye-bye. This episode of Shift Today with Allison was created, directed, produced, edited, and written, and 100% done by Allison Chuhazi. That's me. If you enjoyed this episode, I would love it if you would subscribe, share this with a friend, rate and or review wherever you listen to your podcasts, and just end up having a beautiful day. See you next time.